Hey, hey, hey.
Hey,
It's just been the Joneses. And we are back for another episode with myself, April.
and me, boss.
Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody had a great transition from 2024 to 2025.
Mm, transitions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I most certainly did. We didn't do much, or we did a prayer board. We stayed inside. We watched television. Not much didn't go out or anything like that. It's safer. Well, it's
No, it's safer.
it's safer indoors. It's true.
You gotta worry about drunk drivers and stray bullets.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because the definitely be a lot of that stuff going on.
Yeah.
But we normally spend our New Year's in the house anyways. But yeah. So I feel like this transition has been good.
Hmm.
For me.
Me too. We had a good holiday season, so it was
Hmm.
real good. And I'm glad to be a part of 2025. I'm glad the Lord saw it in his heart to bring me into
Yes.
it.
What a
One more
blessing.
time.
One more time.
One more time. Into a new year.
A new year again.
Again. At least one more time.
You you strange because uh thank the Lord for bringing me into a new year again, and I hope for many many more. Not one
Amen.
more time, but anyway. So today, what are we talking about?
We
Um,
are talking about age gaps with kids.
okay,
Yeah.
because of course we got our with our family dynamics, we have a big age gap between our um two youngest. So it's an 11-year age difference.
Yeah.
And it's pretty similar to my own situation with my siblings because with me and my sisters, they they're like 12 and 13 years 11 and 13 years older than me, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a little similar.
Same here.
But even though I do have brothers closer in age to me, but I have siblings that's our age gap is huge. So with our kids, um, what you were saying, same here. Like yeah, you
Well,
got
yeah,
a
like
big age.
like me and my sister, my oldest sister, we are 9 years apart.
Mm,
I'm 9 years older than
yeah,
her.
that's pretty big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost a decade. So
Mm-hmm.
even though we grew up together, there's still different perspectives on things. And like, I graduated way before them. I was doing a lot of things way before them. So
Mm-hmm.
perspectives are different. But I mean,
I
still,
know
go ahead.
in some families, like did they call you your I know yours it's modern day time
Hmm.
still when your sister was born. But I've seen, and even with me, but I've seen like with the older generation sometimes when they have siblings that's really like a big age gap between them and their sibling,
Yeah.
they may not call them by their first name.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because they saw it as disrespect, right?
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
were so much older than them.
Yeah.
And really some of their older siblings was more like that parental figure,
Hmm.
to them. But with us, it's it was different. Like we didn't have that type of dynamic with our even with me when I was like with the age gap with my siblings, it wasn't that type of dynamic either. I looked at my sisters as my sisters. They wasn't necessarily a parental figure, of course, because my mom was very much my parental figure.
Hmm.
Um which I mean with that age gap they still like taught me a lot of things and stuff like that. But um and I had a certain level of respect for them
Hmm.
because they were so much older than me, but it wasn't like, oh, I need to call you anything other than your first name, I
Yeah.
would say. They didn't do the taking care of me like my mama did, like the cooking for me or stuff like that. None of that stuff. So or just like taking care of me in that way.
Right.
But for our kids, um the dynamics was, close, I would say. Um Tariq was 11. Then um we had a 13-year-old and then a 15-year-old
Mm-hmm.
when
All two
Cam was
years apart.
born.
Yep.
Yeah. The 2 years, all the kids 2 years apart, and then the last one.
11 year.
Yeah.
11 year
So look at
difference.
that
Yeah.
big old age gap between the oldest,
Mm-hmm.
KB, 15. He was 15, like 15 years different between him and Cam. So, but I would say that when I think about what if it was, we've had them kind of like in different times, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, we really did.
Yeah. Because in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, and yours on the
Cause two,
cover of the 90 and
nine, yeah.
2000,
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek was early 2000.
Yeah.
So we had them at different times. Times was a little bit
That was
different.
very, very different though. If you think about it,
Yeah.
between the like say, like 1997 to 2012, those 2 years, that's a big gap. A lot changed in those times.
2 years.
Huh?
You said those 2 years.
I said those well, okay, from 1997 to 2012,
Yeah.
those two, I'm saying, yeah, those 2 years, those two different, I ain't saying 2 years in length, span. I'm talking about those 2 years, like 1997 and 2012. Those are big, that's a big age gap
Okay. I see what you're saying.
between those 2 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
because you threw me off. I was about to see if you had a fever or something. Like I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not too.
Yeah. But
But
I
yeah,
mean, it's a big difference. Big times have changed. A lot happened between those times. Different perspectives,
technology,
technology showed enough drove,
the
differences.
school system,
Yeah, that's right.
a lot of
A lot of
things.
things, how you parent,
Oh
and
yeah,
just
and I think
such a big difference.
yeah, and I think that because of how you parent for me, it changed because of I've had more experience at then,
Hmm.
like when I had Cam versus when I had those two, and I was a much younger mom,
Yeah.
at the time,
Yeah.
and I had to learn things. You learn how to be a mom or a
Yeah. First
parent.
time parent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and every child is different, so you're still learning different things with each child that you're parenting.
Yeah.
But you also had, like you were saying, parent times was different, so you had the parent.
Parenting
We
was
have to
different.
parent different,
Yeah.
so we can't really necessarily parent him right now in 2025 with him being 12 years old, like we did way back then
Hmm.
when they were
When they
12
were 12. Yeah.
or his age.
Yeah.
So some of the ways, yeah, but not
generally,
really.
generally, yeah. The general foundations, yeah, it's gonna be the same, but there will be some differences.
Hmm. Because of different things that has changes that has taken place
Yes.
in the
Yes.
world too. Because when you think about when Cam, I mean not Cam, see, I can't even keep kids' names straight.
KB.
KB, when he was Cam age,
Yeah.
there was no, they didn't have, it was not a whole bunch of kids wasn't on social media like they are now. I
Right.
think, you know,
They weren't. They were on the internet. They were surfing the internet, but they weren't on social media like that.
yeah. So
You
now
know.
it's like
Now it's like they want to be exposed. They want
12
to
year
expose
olds,
themselves on there.
yeah, TikTok and Snapchat
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Um, but we did have, there was technology that we had to monitor and stuff like that when we were raising the older ones
Hmm.
or whatever. So, and I would say that I feel like I came a long way as a parent from versus when my boys were small and they only 4 years apart. So
Yeah.
KB and Tyreek is 4 years apart.
Yeah.
So I feel like I came a long way as a parent with just from the things that I learned. And not only that, things that when you're like, because I'm a therapist, it's other things that and work with kids a lot and stuff like that before. It's like a lot of things that I actually learned that I didn't know too, about children and about different developmental things and all of these different things like that.
Yeah.
So my perspective about a lot of things changed, later on versus when I had the older two boys when they were born. So then parenting Cam looks different in different ways because of just experience being a mom and experience being a therapist.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but as far as like,
and I feel the same way. Like, there was a big difference between when I had my first child in '99 versus Cam. I mean, again, big time difference. That was obviously I was a new parent in '99. That was my first child, even though I had a little experience helping with my little sisters.
oh yeah, see, and I
So
was the youngest, so I didn't have no experience with with my nieces and stuff maybe,
yeah,
but not really like more so what you probably
not
had.
like I was doing because I was what, about 10, 11 years old, and watching them for hours at a time while my mom was at work.
Mm-hmm.
Not every single night, not all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
I do have there was quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
when it did happen, and so that prepared me. I guess you could say I already had that knowledge of how to change diapers, how to prepare the infant the milk. What I'm saying, make sure it's warm enough and not too hot before you feed it. What I'm saying, or feed the child. All those little things like that. How to spend the time, floor time with the kid. So I did it with my sisters, so it was just naturally I had my own child, so I did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those patterns repeated themselves, or history repeated itself when I had my child.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that little stuff, but as a parent, it was of course full time. It's different. So I had a lot to learn still, even though I knew certain things. I still had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Through, family, friends, just experience. Oh well, this ain't work. This will work though. Just doctors. I mean, they give you advice, tell you what to do, what not to do, and don't shake your baby.
Well, please don't do that.
But yeah, just it's a big difference. And then you got Cam coming along in 2012. Okay, I'm more seasoned now. I've seen other people raise kids, and my child is almost a teenager at that point. Oh, she was right. Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
So I've already pretty seasoned, and then plus you, of course, you had two kids, so you were very seasoned. And we just we brought, of course, we were together, and that's how we did it.
And then bringing our own different parenting skills to the blended family, the dynamics, like
Yeah.
you have certain ways of parenting a certain skill set that, and then I had my certain ways of parenting a certain skill set. So
That's
it's
right.
like bringing that together and kind of combining it
Yeah.
in a sense.
And it was generally the same because we didn't have very big like conflict
Well, we
much
don't have
about,
much differences.
we pretty much agreed a lot. I mean, raise
Yeah.
a child right, feed the child. So,
make them take a bath.
Yeah.
Make them go to school.
Yeah.
And like with our kids, it was crazy because like Tyreek, Cam, I mean, see, I told you I cannot get all these kids' names right. I just can't keep them straight. Gosh.
KB or Tyreek?
But KB,
all right.
he left the house first.
Yes.
And went to college.
Yes.
Now, that was before Cam even started. Cam was in daycare.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Denisha, who was the next child in line to graduate. Cam was graduating kindergarten when Denisha was graduating high school.
Oh yeah, that same year.
And remember, we even had pictures that they took together, and what they both hold up they both had their cap and gown on.
Yeah.
And they both had a sign, and Cam said, "Just beginning," and Denisha said something about ending or something.
Finishing, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, just finishing or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was like we were going to Cam's kindergarten graduation that year and Denisha's high school graduation that year.
Yep. Big differences,
A
yeah.
big difference. So we got one that had already left, went to college, one that's graduating, one in high school, and then the other one starting kindergarten.
Yeah.
And then that's a whole another thing. He's starting kindergarten, and we got to take him through this school system all these years. That's changing.
Yeah.
That's different from when, still steadily kind of changing. And I'm like, okay, um, can't Tyreek was high school. Was he high school or middle school when Cam was born?
I want to say middle school. Yeah. Middle
Okay,
school. 11
yeah,
years old. So.
because he was in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so he was in middle school,
Yeah.
but now when Cam started kindergarten, he was in high school.
High school at that point, yeah.
So now we got these kids that some graduated, some in high school,
Yeah.
and then this kid that's starting school,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's
it's
a
a
big.
whole other. Yeah.
Yeah. College, high school. We had kid in college, kid in high school, kid in middle school, and then Cam.
Yeah. And then, but the difference when Cam started kindergarten versus when my other children started kindergarten.
Yeah.
I was always hands on involved as far as like their education, making sure I know what's going on, making sure I in communication with the teachers. But for Cam, it was more so now I have the time,
Yeah,
and the availability to actually volunteer and do things, or stuff like that, versus having the time. It looked different because of the time that I didn't have, because I had to work Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day, sometimes overtime.
Yeah.
With the other ones, for the most part, when they were in elementary school and stuff like that.
Right.
Versus Cam in elementary school, and my schedule is completely flexible.
Very flexible. At that point, yeah.
So like the different stages of life, or different changes that in life, you may be at a different place in life.
Yep.
Where you can provide a different type of, you can contribute in a different way to that child that's maybe younger versus the children that was much older than you did when those children was much older. So depending on your circumstances and how that changes.
Depending on your lifestyle, how you like you said, you became a lot more flexible. So you was able to do a lot more hands on with them because you had the time to do so. Yeah. Versus when you had your first two boys, you was working full time. A lot of that time single parent. So it was a lot. There was a lot on your shoulders, and you marched through that and you did it. But it was totally different from when you and I had Cam.
Yeah.
When Cam was in kindergarten, it was a big, very big difference.
Yeah, and I've never been a single parent with Cam since Cam been born, of course, because we had them together.
Right.
But with my oldest two, I was a single parent at some point in time after me and their dad divorced.
Right.
And even sometimes while we was together. So, but the crazy thing is the older kids, they'll point out the differences for you sometimes.
What differences?
Like for instance,
when they were
that age, and with Cam, there's like with Cam, KB loved to say we soft with him. He loved to say we need to like beat him or something, and I'm like, it ain't that serious. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like he's a good kid, but
yeah.
Or like certain things like now, because we're in a different financial spot too. And then Cam, the only child in the house that we taking care of, versus having 3 and 4 kids in the house at a time. There may be different things that he gets to experience that they actually didn't, because we weren't at that. We wasn't, for one, financially able to in that particular time.
Right.
So, and I remember Cam saying, Tyreek saying, not Tyreek, I'm telling you. It's not. Yeah. He was saying we went to the mall or something, and Cam went to go get him some shoes with his gift card that he got for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, you got your shoes. You want to go and find your outfit to go wear them shoes, and da da da. And then so we went in the store, and I'm like, just pick whatever. And K be like, Mama, see, Cam spoiled, because this not how it was when we was little. And I'm like, different times. different situations,
circumstances.
different
That's
circumstances.
right. Because, and I thought about that too. And, you know, of course, you know, hypothetically, either of those kids, like say if KB was born, he was our child born in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been the same way for him.
Yeah.
You know, either it just, that's just so happened to how it was, how it is.
Yeah,
You know
because
what
of
I'm
the
saying?
circumstances. And
Yeah.
it's like they get, I mean, they got things and they got things that they wanted and they, you know,
Yeah.
and I, you know,
Because we were always,
just in case they forget, I keep all pictures. No, just
because we
but I
always
keep
wanted
them
to
for
make sure
memories.
that
But
they had things. They had
yeah,
little, you know, whatever they kind of, not whatever they wanted, but just
but
nice
most of
things.
what they wanted, you know, like if they wanted something and we can get it, we got it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just so happened that with Cam, you know, it's just
Yeah.
different
It's David
circumstances.
Ferguson. Yep. I make more money, a lot more money than I did then, and he's the only child in the house. And
Only child.
of course, you're still working. So I mean, there's this, and of course, we always want to do things for our kid.
Yeah, I
You know.
think we did. We went above and beyond for our children in every situation or circumstance we were in.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever circumstance we were in at the time, it was still above and beyond within our means that we can do.
Yeah.
For in each, you know, for whatever kid, you know.
Yeah.
So either way,
We
we went above and beyond.
We did.
But Cam's but above and beyond may look different because the circumstances are different. It's more resources.
Yeah.
And so that's, I mean, and then even with the Pokemon, like for some odd reason,
Say, don't bring that up.
for some odd reason, when KB was like a little kid, like younger, much younger, he was really, I didn't allow him like with Pokemon and stuff, but he was really into the Pokemon. But it was something that the church was saying about Pokemon. The Christians were saying about Pokemon, and Pokemon is evil, and you and da 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 da. Some newspaper write up was on it. So, and because I was more impressionable back then versus like thinking outside the box and saying, "Let me dig deeper," you know, into it. Let me see how this really gonna affect my kid in the supernatural, you know, whatever. So I just didn't let him have it. Right. And see, that goes back to a different parenting style too, because for Cam it's a different parenting style, you know. So I didn't let him have it. So he was upset because he couldn't have it. And right now today, I think he just probably stopped talking about this last year. But we only a week into 2025. So I'm probably pretty sure I'm gonna hit again. But he was like, Mama, but you let Cam have Pokemon, but you ain't let me have Pokemon when I was little. I was like, son, I'm sorry. Do you want me to get you some Pokemon cards now? Because that's the only thing I can do right now about it. Yeah. You know.
God, man. You ever think about how so the big three is what I call them. The big three kids, when they were little, you know, they may have had like books and toys, and that was like and they may have seen like a calculator. Say like when they were like three or four in a given year. But versus Cam, he was basically computer literate just about by the time he got because he had a tablet at such a young age.
Cam was punching on that cabinet at 3 months old.
Yeah, 3 months old. He was like just banging on those colorful, that drum app you had and things like that. You know, the ABCs and all kind of stuff. Learning just about everything on there. Mm-hmm. ABC Mouse. He had that going.
Cam had ABC Mouse before he even went to VPK.
Yeah.
Well, he was about maybe 2 years old when we started him on VPK Mouse.
And so that's just another example I think about how the different times when they were younger, you know, because that big age gap, that's a long time. So a lot has changed. And how you do it, how you parent.
Yeah. And certain things available, because when the older ones, and I'm sure when Denisha was their age, you know, whatever, y'all didn't, you know, we didn't have the tablets and the laptops, and you know, just, you know, for them to be on.
Nope.
ABC Mouse didn't even exist.
Nope, sure didn't.
You know, whatever. So these little games and apps and stuff, when they were that age too, that wasn't a thing.
Not at all.
No. So I mean, it's just definitely different,
Mm-hmm.
And um the one thing is you can't go back, and you do the best you can with what you have. And
Yes.
that includes resources, knowledge, all of it.
Yes.
You do the best with what you can with what you have, and then when you know better, you do
You
better.
do better. Yeah, because there's books and resources, but there's no really book answer on how to raise like a child because every child is different.
Yeah, there's book
There's good.
answers, but
There's
it ain't
good
gonna fit. It ain't
resources,
no one size fits
and
all.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
There is stuff, useful information you can get from a book, from
Mm-hmm.
books. You can get the Gottman answer and all
The
them, but
government ain't telling you how to raise kids.
well, he might be. I don't know, but I mean, every child's different, so there's always gonna be a different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Yep.
when you got a big age gap.
Yep.
I remember one time, I told KB, hey, why don't you go play with your friends? Go see what your friend up to, because he was, I think he was bored around the house or something. Why don't you go see what your friends up to? Then he told me, he said, don't nobody do that no more. I can't just go to their house. I gotta text him. I gotta make sure he's there first. I said, what? And I thought that was the oddest thing,
That's
but I
because
mean,
you
I
just
didn't
walk out
like
your door and go to your friend's
back in
house when
our
you
day,
were
like, oh,
young.
let me go to my bicycle, or let me walk
But you
down
wasn't
here.
texting nobody
See,
either. We didn't have no phones. No
I
phones.
ain't know what a text message was because it wasn't around.
Yeah.
So I thought about it. I ain't like get on them, and I was like, hold up, let me just think about this. I'm like, well, times are different now.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, if that's how it is,
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
Our younger kids went to the park. Cam jumps in Fortnite with his friends.
Yes.
Times are different, and you gotta, my advice: embrace it and roll with it safely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so those age gaps can, it's really no joke. For some people, I can understand like too how when they have older children, maybe in middle school, high school, and then they have a baby, sometimes that can be a very it can be kind of stressful too for some people, because you got if your middle school or high school kids have all this extracurricular stuff going on and
Yeah.
different stuff, and you got to have them here and there and everywhere. You got to be here and there and everywhere
Yeah.
for them, and then you got this baby or this toddler, and then that's
Mm-hmm.
and then their needs and
Gotta come.
all of
Yep.
that, and it's just you can kind of feel all over the place, um too. So especially if you don't have the support, help, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that's important to have to alleviate some of that
Mm-hmm.
stress. So, but um yeah, and like sometimes I've seen some situations where sometimes the older children may have some animosity or resentment or jealousy toward the younger child, the much younger child, because they experienced a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
See them experiencing a different lifestyle
Right.
than they did, whatever. So
And all you can do is talk to them about it,
have a
like we do.
conversation. Yeah,
Hey, things are different
exactly.
now.
Yep.
I was living more paycheck to paycheck then.
Or my
You know.
parenting was just, I was, maybe you was some kids. I hate to say it, but that first kid, and no, depending on how close in age that second kid is, sometimes those are the um kids, the pipeless kids.
Yes, exactly.
Cause you, cause
You winging it.
you're learning as you go, for
Yeah,
real.
you
Like it's a
winging it.
lot you don't know, emotionally, mentally, and
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you're at in your life at those times too.
Yep.
Like mentally and emotionally, different things like that. What you have to give and provide. So you can definitely have parents for the same parent, but the different like each child experience something different. So it depending on their circumstances and situations and things happening. So
Another thing I think about too, I've thought about looking at Cam, how we raising him versus the big three. Like you remember how we had them doing various chores just about every night, and we broke it down different ways throughout the year. It could change
yeah,
from year
like
to
maybe
year,
we had
or
like all three of them on a different thing on the kitchen. So
yeah,
somebody do the dishes this night, somebody do the floors this night, somebody do
right,
the counters this night or something like that.
something like that. But Cam's situation, he's by himself.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be the same for him.
You're right.
I might just have him any given night. I'll just say, hey, just knock out the dishes and the counters. I'll take care of the rest. I'll take the trash out and knock out the floors.
Yeah.
And do some and come behind you doing whatever. You know what I mean? Or just, hey, just take the trash out, sweep the floors, take the trash out. I'll take care of the rest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just all depends. I mean, but his experience gonna be different because I'm not gonna have him doing all that stuff all the time.
Right.
Every now and then I say, yeah, go ahead and knock all of it out. And you ain't doing that anyway, boy. But
yeah.
go ahead. But for the most part, yeah, he don't be doing that. And it don't be a whole lot anyway.
Plus,
but
I feel like
it's just different though. I'm not gonna have him doing that all the time. You know.
Yeah, because I also feel like your giving your and the doctor would act like Cam doctor. He good for asking, hey, you got chores around the house?
That's right.
Because giving that responsibility, not like overdoing it, but giving that responsibility of chores and different things help with their work ethic. Them growing into it. And all of our kids really have, if they work and they, they're gonna do their job well.
Yeah.
They got good work ethic.
Yes.
But it's like, so get providing that opportunity for them to build those skills is important.
Yeah, they definitely have to have some good work.
But it's definitely different because Cam is here by himself and he basically, it's like the only child. Yeah. Really. Because everybody adult. So he's the only child. Yeah. He didn't really grow up with, he spent less years with other kids in the house than he have, he spent less, his whole time being born, he spent more time being the only child in the house than he did not. Mm-hmm. Because it was like, they all kind of left 2 years apart. 2
years apart, yeah.
And then so he was just here, but the only child in the house for
quite a while.
Quite a while.
Yep, since technically since 2019.
Mm-hmm. And that age gap too, I would say with him, I think that has a lot to do with his maturity level too, because he was around these older siblings yeah. when he was born, and it's like, I'm like, boy, I have to tell him so much and have had to tell him so many times over the years, be a kid. Yeah. Like, be a kid. You're supposed to be doing, the typical fun kid things that most kids like to do, like go to theme parks and all of this stuff like that.
We got to drag him.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because like my goodness, he don't be wanting to do nothing.
And I still like going to theme parks, and I'm an adult. And I'm like, no, you gotta go out and have fun. You gotta be a kid. Right. So, yeah. But
I remember we used to joke around, you and I used to joke around and say, like, when Cam was much younger, that Cam was kind of present himself as being older than the kids that he was around sometimes. Yeah. Like, he was like, nah, I'm not gonna play with them little toys. That's not, I don't do that.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah. So, yep. That's our little talk on because we got to come to the end, because I could talk all day about stuff like that, but we ain't got all day. So mm-hmm. But yeah, so age difference, the differences in parenting throughout those different those years and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's really something that's very common. Yeah. Yeah, very common. So we thank y'all for coming to our podcast, and thank you for listening and joining us. And we are coming back in 2 Tuesdays with another topic, and we hope y'all tune in then. And that's it.